Hi everybody, Patrick Kennedy here and welcome to the channel. The last download, our turmeric tea recipe, was a hit, a smash hit folks, so we're back. And today we're just having a bit of a muck around. I'm introducing my beautiful kids, Clan Kennedy here. This is Piper and Darby. Say hello guys.
Hi.
Okay, we've had a bit of fun today at school holidays. This afternoon we want to try something might be interesting to some people. We're going to do sun-dried kale chips. Now I grew kale a couple of years ago, absolutely beautiful, and while the kids weren't really keen on it, the kale chips they loved. The only thing that detracted me a little bit from the kale chips was we cooked them in the oven, so it's a lot of energy used to for a small snack. I found a YouTube site where a lady's given a great recipe for sun-dried kale chips, so we're going to give that bit of an experiment today and see how we go. Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay. So here's our kale, folks. Now, the kids and I grew this ourselves, as I mentioned before, completely organically. Here, the only method we use is thumb and forefinger, and Darby actually helped me this year with the badminton bat. That was a great deterrent with cabbage moths, and we missed one there, Darb. So the first step is wash your kale. Obviously I've done a bit of a rough job there, but it'll be good enough for this. And then next step is pull the kale apart. So you'd like to jump up and help maybe, Darb? Thank you. Right, you take some.
One hand up.
Well,
It's like,
and what we're going to do is just break the kale up. Maybe move over a little. Can you sit beside Piper for a sec? Thanks, mate. So, you can see here, we want to get rid of the stem. Basically, these thick bits. Can you see those thick bits of stem, Darb? Yeah, those very thick bits. So, this bit here, very thick bit, that's the bit we want to get rid of. Now, I find the easiest way, rip the end off where it's nice and thin, snap that off and chuck that straight in.
There's it off.
That's about the spot.
Right here.
That's pretty good. Now, lovely, Piper. Now these little ones, break all these little bits off the side like that. You watching? Snap those off. Now, we don't want these too big. Any that are too big, just break in half. I'd break that in half, Darby. Thank you. So that's a pretty simple process. Very good. That's pretty good.
So, you rip that off.
I'd break it in half. Okay. This is going really well. We might just cut for a moment while we get ahead. Thanks, darling. Right, so we've broken all those leaves off. Now these stems, you don't need to waste those. Cut those up, soup, stews, anything like that. So here are our kale chips. Now I'm just giving a demo here because we're going to need to do a lot more. These really dry out, and if I want to get any, I'll have to make a lot more. I didn't get any last time, not many anyway. So what's next? Piper, I think it's the olive oil now. Would you mind putting a little drizzle of olive oil over that, please?
Yep.
Oh, that looks beautiful. Now, Darby, have you washed your hands? I know you have. Could you mix that all up for me? That's lovely. Very good, very good. So you mix it all up, don't be frightened, get in there and stir it right up from the bottom.
Yeah, I can put it.
That's nice.
Can I do it too?
Sure.
So now that all
And the secret is you want to cover all of that. Make sure it's all got a light coating on it. There's not much else to this. All you really need is salt now and olive oil. pretty liberal with the salt there. As I said, I'm going to add to this. So as I said, salt and olive oil, that's all you need, but you can flavour it with any spice you like, any flavour you like really. Half a teaspoon of sweet paprika for me, and just a dash of cayenne pepper. That should keep the kids out of it.
You're not going to stop me from eating it.
Now, I haven't given amounts here, just season it to taste. If you've used cayenne pepper before, you know to be careful there. If you haven't used cayenne pepper, be careful. How are we looking, kids? Do you think that's all mixed in? Oh, it looks well coated.
Now my hands are oily.
Okay.
Can I go
Well,
wash
that'll
my
be
hands?
fine. Well, would you mind just staying there? Because there's one more little job.
Okay.
We just have to mix this through now. Put half in now. Could you mix that up for me again, please, guys? Yeah, that's good. Lift the bottom stuff up to the top. That's the best way to mix.
I love this smell.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
What does it smell like?
You have not rub your eyes, that cayenne pepper will burn. Good, did I forget to mention that? Okay, give that a good mix in. Now that looks really good to me. It doesn't take much, does it? So we'll take a little break now. That car's ready to go out in the sun. We'll take a little break while the kids go and wash their hands, and then we'll move out in the sun and start to get this ready. And cut. Action.
So we put all the kale onto the cutting boards, and now we have to just let it dry. But depending on how much you've done, you might need a bigger surface, a smaller surface, but we have enough space on the cutting boards. And you're just going to let it dry now.
Hi, we're back. Okay, we've got a new character today. This is Patch down here. Don't know how well you can see Patch. Head of security. We call him around here. He's a good boy, aren't you, Patch? Okay, so here are our kale chips. Now these turned out really well. I'm wrapped with these. What happened was we finished these off after filming. We weren't able to dry these completely. There was only about 2 hours of afternoon sunlight left. So we gave them a bit of a start. I put them inside, covered them overnight. We put them out the next morning in some more direct sunlight and about 2 hours. And I thought they were just great. I was absolutely wrapped with this. I've been growing kale for a long time. I'm really, well, a couple of years actually, so it's not that long, but I'm really the only one that eats it in any amount, so a lot going to waste. I'm fascinated now to see how this is going to keep, because if this keeps, well, that's about as good as it gets. And as I say, sun dried, we're not using any extra energy. That's a fantastic result for me. Now I didn't mention, before we do the taste test, I didn't mention that I did a video last week on turmeric tea. Didn't mention that we'd actually grown our own turmeric. Well, I did mention that, so I didn't mention that we dried and powdered our own turmeric. So I'm really interested in this idea of drying these vegetables as a way of preserving them for as long as possible. So absolutely wrapped with that. Now it's time for a taste test. Here we go. Not quite as crunchy as the ones we got that we did in the oven, but I'm fine with that. And we could definitely give these more sun too, dry them out more. I suspect we could have got away with a bit less oil too, might have affected that. But very tasty, I think. This is a winner. Can't wait to see how long they last. Okay. Would you care to try, Piper?
I like them, but I don't like the texture much. I feel like if it was like it dried for a bit longer, it could be better.
Hold on, before we go to Darby's taste test, I noticed what Piper's noticed. Not only do you don't quite get down to the same slightly higher moisture content in the sun-dried, but also in the kale chips I made previously, we used flat kale. Now if you look here, this is the curly kale. We used, you want to get rid of this big stem, so you pull these leaves off, but there's still a fairly pronounced vein in there. You don't get that in some of the varieties of flat leaf kale. So that's something to think about. Darb, would you care to have a try? That's a no from Darby. Okay, there's one left here. Patch, head of security, come on. Here, boy. That's a fella. Here, you try some kale?
Hey, try this. Patchy, try this. Try, you go.
Head of security says no. Look, I love it. I think this is a winner. Anybody that likes to eat kale and try sundried, I think it's a winner. Excuse us while we brush our teeth. Thank you. Okay. What do you think?
Wait.
Oh yeah. Cut.
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 Oh. No. Batman didn't cut the video. Batman got that.
Like it?
That beat the owl. That beat the owl.
He does like the kale.
No, it did that.